back to back. Shout out Paul Maurice, man. Throw them Rats. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, it feels good to be on top again, man.
Thank
Pause
God
on that.
we have the Panthers here in South Florida. No bueno.
Thank God for the Panthers. Oh, I love Paul Maurice, man. Oh, my God. McJesus, my ass. Yeah, let's go Cats, baby. What do you think, Pengu? High five? Pow. Thank you. Thank you for being my prop. Eat. Okay, she's camera shy. You can go down now. Thank you, Pengu. Here's a couple of treats. Yo, what a game, man. Back-to-back champions. Like, I can't even believe I'm saying those words. What a fun team this is. Is this a hockey town now? It just might be, man. Listen, I don't think we'll fully be able to grasp how insane a back-to-back champion is. Like, at least not in the moment. Like, I think we'll be able to realize several years down the line how truly insane an accomplishment this is. Because we're having talks about, like, the most dominant South Florida team of all time. And, of course, the only other team to compare that to is the Miami Heat, the Big Three Miami Heat, which is the whole reason I became a Heat fan. That's when I started watching basketball already, what's that, 16 years ago now when that started? So, of course, I know all about those teams. I remember how dominant they were. But this Florida Panthers team, my God, are they just on another level? And now I'm not here to compare the Panthers versus the Miami Heat. Who cares about that, right? I'm just enjoying this moment right now because although we truly won't be able to grasp how insane the run they is, like I still know not to take it for granted, right? Because when I was a kid and I was growing up watching the Miami Heat, of course I had a great time. I remember every game like it was yesterday, but it was impossible to truly appreciate the winning because I didn't suffer through losing first. I didn't realize how hard it was to actually win a championship because all I knew was winning. Since I started watching basketball 2010, we had LeBron every year. We were in the finals. I thought that's how it went. I thought you play the regular season, you get to the finals, you win or you lose. Little did I know how ignorant I was at the time. And especially you look at a Florida Panthers team like this who went so long with just being completely irrelevant. And then they made all these great changes they had over the last 5 years since Bill Zito came into power just to become an absolute powerhouse that they are. And if you're a South Florida sports fan who is maybe not into hockey and you weren't watching this Panthers team this year or last year, I feel sorry for you because I'm telling you, you're missing out. And listen, take it from me, a guy who did not watch a single hockey game before like 4 or 5 years ago. You know, I'm a diehard South Florida sports fan. I root for all the teams. That includes the Marlins and the Panthers, of course, too. Although I'm only really diehard for the Miami Heat, of course, the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Hurricanes, specifically the football team. Those are the teams that I've been really invested in over the last, 10 to 15 years, watching every single game. But, of course, this Panthers team, they started becoming relevant over the last 5 years. I think Bill Zito was hired back in 2020. They started getting good. I started watching the games. You go on some playoff runs. They had like the highest scoring team in the league back with Jonathan Huberdeau and Joe Quenneville coaching those boys. And they were fun. And then, of course, you make a Stanley Cup Finals. They were playing the Golden Knights that year. That was, I guess, 3 years ago now. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get that invested into that finals because that's the same year the Heat were in the finals. All of my time and brain power was consumed with the Heat. Of course, both teams ended up losing. But then by the next year, the Heat were pretty much irrelevant again. They got killed by Boston in the first round. But you had the Florida Panthers make the Stanley Cup again. I was able to watch almost every game in the playoff run last year. Same thing this year. Obviously tuned into the regular season, keeping up with the team. And they're absolutely phenomenal. You're talkative now, Penguin. You got something you want to say? What do you think about Sam Bennett winning the Conn Smythe Trophy? She's still shy. Go ahead, get out of here. But yeah, and I know that like a lot of people may not watch this video, at least relative to the view count of my normal videos. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, I mostly just make content that I enjoy making, that's fun for me. Of course, I also want to make stuff that people are interested in, and a lot of people will be interested in this video for sure. But just compared to the Heat, it won't be nearly as much. I think this will be like the 4th Panthers video I ever posted. The first one I ever did was a year ago when they won the Stanley Cup. I posted a reaction video. I had a few hundred people watch that, and I greatly appreciate every one of you. But then I also posted a video comparing the Heat's build to what the Panthers did, basically trading Huberdeau for Kachuk, bringing in Paul Maurice to change the culture, that whole thing. And I compared that to what the Miami Heat need to do. And that video performed well, but I compared it to the Miami Heat. And then I posted a video from a little mini vlog / detailing my experience from just a few days ago when I went to Game 4 of the Stanley Cup. And again, only a few hundred people watched it, which I appreciate all you. But I'm sure this video may not perform as well either. And the part that's sad about it is I feel like a lot of South Florida sports fans, if you're a fan of other hockey team, maybe you're a Heat fan and you're an Islanders fan, whatever. I don't know your reasoning behind that. That's fine. But if you're in general a guy who lives in South Florida or Miami or Fort Lauderdale or wherever, and you root for all the South Florida teams, but you're just not a hockey guy, it's sad if you didn't get into this team. Because I'm telling you, it has been one of the most exhilarating watches for the last several years now. And especially as a guy who's, I'm a Heat fan first, who knows when we'll get to feel this again? Who knows? Like, I don't have faith that they'll be able to get anything done this offseason. And then the one move that we're all hoping for that's halfway realistic is for a 37 aging Kevin Durant. And part of the reason that I want him is just so the games are interesting again. I don't even legitimately think he's going to make us a true contender ever again. So to have a team like this in town that's truly this dominant, it's not something you could take for granted. Even in this Stanley Cup, this game was a breeze. I much prefer this to last year, which went to 7 games and came down to overtime, I believe. I think it was a 1-score game. That was, a heart-wrenching game. Whatever. Its intensity was at the max because the Panthers were up 3-0. Then the Oilers won 3 straight games last year. And fortunately, the Panthers closed it out in 7. So funny because the Heat also the year prior, that's when they were up 3-0 in Boston. Then Boston won 3 straight. Then Panthers, they almost did the same thing. Fortunately, both those teams did win Game 7. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have did. But anyways, last year was a lot more intense. This year, pretty easy. Let me not say that because out of the 6 games, 3 of them, the Panthers kind of dominated. The other 3 were as close as you can get. Of course, you had Game 1 where the Panthers lost in overtime because they gave up a power play to the Oilers with 2 minutes to go. That one was rough. But then in Game 2, you had the wild double overtime win after the Panthers controlled the game, but then they gave up a game-tying goal to the Oilers with 17 seconds left. Luckily, the Panthers were able to outlast them in double overtime. But then you had Game 3, dominant, 6-1 win. You had all those fights. Oh, that was an insane game, all-time game. Same as Game 4, the one I went to, even though they lost. The Panthers were up 3-0, then down 4-3, and then tied it up with 19 seconds to go. Yes, they lost in overtime off the cheap Draisaitl goal, but still an all-time game. And then in Games 5 and 6, the Panthers pretty much controlled consistently throughout the whole game. I mean, they're a special team, man. And I was worried. This is a rematch of last year. How many times do you see rematches have the same team win both? Almost never. I mean, I think back to the Miami Heat even. We played Dallas twice in the finals, 06 and 11. We split. I think back to the Miami Heat and the Spurs. Played them in 13, played them in 14. We split. There's been a ton of examples over the years of teams getting these rematches, and they usually always split. Usually one team comes out with vengeance the next year. You thought that's what would have happened this time, but no, sir. The Panthers were just that much more dominant. Playing an Oilers team who I keep hearing about this guy named McJesus, who, yes, I know Connor McDavid is a godly level player. He's insane, but he didn't look like it against the Panthers. That's how great this defense is. That's how great Sergei Bobrovsky is. I mean, just watching this series, Sam Bennett, you could have given the Conn Smythe, playoff MVP to a number of guys. They're so deep. Sam Bennett, of course, ended up winning it. Shout out to him. Had the most goals this postseason. He was incredible. Sam Reinhart was the best player today. Had 4 goals. We all know what Sam Reinhart's capable of. You could have gave it to Brad Marchand, who had the most goals this series. Or maybe Reinhart passed him today because he had 4. But Marchand, we know, was awesome. Had a couple of overtime game winners. They just traded from him mid-season. what a home run trade. I mean, we're going to give Bill Zito some love at the end of this, but my God, was that an absolutely amazing trade? You steal the best player from one of your biggest rivals, and he comes to you and dominates and helps you win. What a fun player that Brad Marchand is. Fitting with the team so well. The chemistry was great. You got the whole Dairy Queen shtick. Oh, what a joyful team. I mean, as Heat fans, we know they went on the runs with the power of friendship and tomfoolery. This Panthers team has that, in addition to talent. Because outside of Marchand and Reinhardt and Bennett, we didn't even name who might be their two best players. Alexander Barkov, Matthew Tkachuk, and of course Bobrovsky again, when the Panthers first got him, he sucked. I remember Leroy on the Tobin and Leroy show used to call him 5 over Bob because he gave up 5 goals a game. But then he got comfortable. He focused, as he likes to say. And then he's been one of the best goalies in the league for the last 3 seasons. Almost had a shutout today. A shutout in a clinching game with a Stanley Cup. That's insane. The Oilers ended up getting a cheap one late. But the point is, the depth on this team is insane. And we didn't even mention Anton Lundell, Lusterinen, Nikola Mikkola, Gustav Forsling, Gadjovic, whatever. Like, the list goes on and on. Aaron Ekblad. Can I get an Aaron Ekblad? Can I get a Seth Jones? I don't even want to start naming guys because then I'm going to forget. Rodriguez. Like, so damn deep. And I think that was the difference this entire playoffs. Like, just, what a run. I mean, won both Stanley Cups at home. I think that's important. You got to celebrate in front of the home crowd. That's incredible. Each guy got their chance to hold up the cup and parade around the ice. And I loved, you had Barkov go first. He's the captain. But then they went to all the guys who are new, who didn't get to hold the cup before. And then, of course, they went through all the guys, the repeaters, your Ekblads and everyone else that was here last year. It's just so cool. Like, the guys worked so hard for that. And I do genuinely believe hockey is one of the hardest sports to win it in, especially go back-to-back. Like, in basketball, okay, we see that sometimes. You see that. You don't usually see that in a lot of other sports. Football is maybe a bit tougher because it's not a series. It's a one-off. But in hockey, it's just such a physically demanding sport that it's hard to do that, to go back-to-back. It's hard to win one. Gary Bettman, he said it, as he's out there shaking, giving out his speech before he gave out the trophy or whatever. And yeah, he said that it's hard to win one and it's hard to win both. Stanley Cup said, I ain't going nowhere. They pulled a DiCaprio. It's not going nowhere. What a fun game, man. Well, what a fun team. As far as the actual championship parade, I did not get to go last year. Luckily, because it was storming rain. I'm sure it was a great time, but we all would have been soaked. This time, I'm going to try to go. I love Paul Maurice last year. He was wearing his shirt with both his cats on each side. Just to see that speech in person and cheer would be dope. I never got to go to any of the Heat parades. I always said I'll go to the next one if we're so lucky to have one. But I'm going to try to go to the Panthers parade. As of right now, I don't know when it is. Maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday. I'll scroll through Twitter real quick just to see if there's anything there. But they probably won't come out with that information for another day or so, I would think. Let me check Twitter. This is the first time I've checked Twitter in like 5 days where I wasn't anxiously waiting for some KD news. Wouldn't that be kind of funny if I check right now? That's when KD was moved. But yeah, I'm going to try to go to the parade. But I just want to, again, shout out Bill Zito. Just to kind of recap everything he's done from here. He instilled a culture. They were the highest scoring team, but they got their ass kicked in the playoffs. You brought in Paul Maurice to instill toughness. You made the hard move to trade Huberdeau for Tkachuk, and it just instilled a culture. That's real culture. Not what the Miami Heat been making up for the last 5 years now. It turned from a real thing to a marketing scheme. That's all it is. If Pat Riley still had the cojones, he would go out there and trade Tyler Hero. He would have traded Tyler Hero for Damian Lillard last year. You would have won a championship. No. They don't have what Bill Zito has no more. I know they got a lot of free agency concerns. Ekblad, Bennett, Marchand, they're all free agents, but now's not the time to worry about that. I did hear, I forgot who said it after the game, but they asked him about Bennett's pending free agency, and then he just said, like, I'm not letting Bennett out the door. I'm not going to let it happen. So we'll see what happens. I know it's a business at the end of the day. All these guys certainly deserve to get paid, and especially a lot of times once you've already won a couple. Wait a minute. Bro, I hate this. I just seen a fake Sham Charania tweet that said Kevin Durant to the Miami Heat. I don't know why people keep retweeting that. Not now. Anyways, that just shows you how desperate I am to get some news for the Heat, to do something. Like, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this Panthers win. I love it. I'll be happy for a very long time, but it just makes me all the more desperate for the Miami Heat to get another one, man. Like, it does. And when that day happens, it'll be a good one. Anyways, that's all I got to say for this video. Make sure to leave some of your thoughts down below. If you are a Panthers fan, thank you for tuning in. If you're not a Panthers fan who stayed this long, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining the celebration. Make sure to leave your likes and subscribe because your support is greatly appreciated. I'll see y'all on the next one. Let's go, Cats, baby.
Look, pull up in your city tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.